All right, let's jump out of the D&M Leasing Hotline and talk to the one, the only, the Aaron Judge Slayer himself from Foul Territory, Mr. Michael Bier. MB, how's it going on a dreary and overcast Monday? And yet, more importantly, how surprised were you when the news came out yesterday that Donnie Ecker was no longer with the Rangers?
Going good. Thanks for having me back on, and shout out to Kevin for graduating later this week.
That's
it's a
right.
big accomplishment. One other thing, I'm surprised to hear Blake. Like, it's refreshing to hear Blake. I feel like every time I tune into y'all, I never hear Blake. I thought they fired you.
I thought so too. I'm glad I'm here.
It's really nice to hear your voice.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
Thought they fired him.
Anyway, but on to the baseball question. Was I surprised? A little bit, because you've never had an in-coaching staff change. And Bruce Bochy's 28 years as a manager, so I did catch me by surprise just a little bit, especially considering the season's only about a month old. But I think it was time. At the same time, I think it was due.
So but was there anything as far as, had you heard any rumblings? I mean, look, we saw the product on the field, but was there anything to suggest that, okay, they might be hitting at that? Because once we heard the Bret Boone audio today, it sounds like this thing's been in the works, or at least there's been they've been internally discussing it for a couple weeks now.
As far as rumblings, no, but I think if you're looking for something to suggest it, I think you can go back all the way to last season when the offense was just a roller coaster ride, inconsistent, very streaky. And then it got to a point this year where, sure, they were winning games early in the season, but it wasn't a secret that the offense was struggling mightily. And if not for what the pitching staff and the bullpen has done, the Rangers would be in a very, very different place right now. There would be a lot more panic than I think there's been over the last few weeks surrounding just the offense. So, again, I think it was time. The writing was on the wall. As far as the rumbling, just like you said, I don't think anyone really heard anything. But at the same time, I don't know if this was necessarily a shock to anyone.
Michael, do you think the Joc Pederson, the Jake Berger, the Adolis Garcia struggles are going to be reevaluated now that there's a new hitting coach in there? Do you think this is something that can be changed, or you think it didn't really matter what hitting coach was there? These guys are just not playing good baseball, especially at the plate.
Yeah, I think a new voice is going to help. But to your question, I don't know if a new hitting coach is going to fix their ability to hit a fastball. A fastball, look, no pitch is easy. But of all the pitches to hit in today's game, the fastball is the easiest one because it's a straight pitch. Sure, the velocity is higher, so like I said, no pitch is easy to hit. But, if you're at the major league level and you can't hit a fastball, you're not going to succeed. And we've seen that with this lineup, again, going back to last year, and now a month into the season. And it's not just that. The at-bats that they're putting together, we'll talk about Adolis specifically here as an example. And I hate to use him as an example because he seems to be the example all the time. But just as far as at-bats go, it's not just velocity. Like, he's swinging at first-pitch breaking balls out of the zone more than any other player in Major League Baseball. That is not just him. Again, the at-bats from the majority of the lineup just need to get better. There needs to be more patience. And while it has gotten better, it's not to the point where you can string together hits like they were having – or doing rather in 2023. So to your question, it's a new voice, but at the end of the day, if you can't hit a fastball, there's nothing a coach is going to be able to do to fix that. That's on the player.
And then what do you know about Boone, and kind of what are you expecting him to be other than just a new voice? Do you see any changes in how these players approach their swings, maybe more patience? What do you think the reason is and why they brought Bret Boone in?
Yeah, I would hope that there's a little more patience at the plate. As far as what to expect, I just think here's how I look at it. I've mentioned this already, and you did too. It's a new voice. Hopefully it is almost like a mental wake-up, right? Because as a player, you look yourself in the mirror, and I have to imagine there's some guilt, right? Someone lost their job yesterday. Will he find another job? I'm sure. Will he land on his feet? I'm sure. But when you bring in a new guy, it's again almost like when you're a player, you look in the mirror and you can't help but think that some of this might be on you. So what he's doing directly might not result into what I'm hinting at indirectly here. Again, it's the way I look at it, and I don't know if it's making much sense to anyone, but just from a player perspective, this might kind of be like a mental wake-up call, if you will.
I don't disagree with you on that. Plus, I'm not taking any shot at Donnie Ecker's playing career, but Boone spent 14 years in the major leagues. I mean, this is a guy that was a 3-time All-Star, was on one of the best regular season teams of all time, the Mariners in 2001 when they won 116 games. Obviously, they choked in the playoffs. But either way, this guy's been there and done it at the highest level. He comes from baseball royalty in the Boone family. So you just wonder, knowing that this guy has the pelts on the wall and is a Bochy guy, I would imagine, look, you're going to pay a little bit closer attention in addition to it being a new voice. But when you pull his Google him, you're like, oh, snap. Okay, Bret Boone's been here and done this before.
Yeah, and anytime you come from a baseball family, all right, there's a lot of positive there. His brother is Aaron Boone, manager of the Yankees. He's been around the game plenty of times as a player and as a coach. He's well respected. You mentioned being a Bochy guy. I mean, we heard today that Bochy picked up the phone, reached out to him. So when you have a Hall of Fame manager that's earned your trust, I think that will lead a lot of fans to trust you without seeing much beforehand.
Now, when you flip the coin and we look at Leody Taveras, who is put up for waivers, what are your thoughts on what went into that thought process and kind of how the other Rangers that might fill that void?
Yeah, again, similar to the Donnie Ecker situation, I think the writing was on the wall. This one was a little more shocking just because Leody Taveras has been a contributor now for about half a decade, and he played a big role in the World Series run in 2023. But there was just a lot of inconsistencies there, a lot of streakiness, both in the field and at the plate especially. I mean, you can't be a big league center fielder as inconsistent as you are. So, yes, he's on waivers now. He'll probably pass through. I don't think any team's going to claim him at $4.5 million. At that point, it's his decision. Him and his agent are, probably talking. I don't think that he's going to stay within the organization. I'd be genuinely shocked if that was the case a week from now. But again, I mean, the writing was on the wall. It's an unfortunate situation. I think everyone wishes him the best. But just, when you're as consistent as you are, playing a premier position like that, I think it's been half a decade. It's just time to move on at some point.
And I think with Evan Carter being ready, I think this kind of plays into it now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've got a long list of outfielders, and there's some even waiting in the wings. Alejandro Osuna had a really good spring training, and Bruce Bochy talked very highly of him. You've also got the trade deadline. There's a big name out there. If all else fails, Luis Robert, that was supposed to get traded last year, didn't get traded, is not having the best year, so it's not going to cost you a lot to go out and get him. So they have options, right? It's not a situation like with the Red Sox just lost Tristan Casas where they don't really have any options at first base. The Rangers can be flexible here if they choose to be, whether that's internally or at some point, a month, 2 months from now, externally.
I had my question on the top of my head, and then now you made me forget it for a second. Joc Pederson. Why is he still batting cleanup? I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, why not move Jonah Heim or Josh Young into that cleanup spot at this point? I mean, I get Boch likes keeping his guys there, but what are we doing?
Yeah, it's a bit of a foggy situation for me as well. I just think at this point, you're not hitting, you're trying everything, right? You don't want to give up on guys. Joc Pederson, it's not like he's been here before. He's coming in with a big contract. We all know it's weighing on him heavily. So I think Bochy's keeping him, around the middle of the lineup just so he instills the confidence. That's my best guess.
Yeah.
Would I like to see it change? Sure. But look, here's the thing on Joc Pederson, and I know a lot of fans have heard this plenty, both from the media and from the coaches. He's going to find it. He's a veteran. He's done it before. He's proved that he can hit a fastball in the past, so he'll be able to do it again at some point in his career, hopefully soon. But, Joc Pederson hitting 100 is not going to last throughout his Ranger tenure. Like, he's going to pick it up at some point.
I just guess the dude's been on 5 teams in 6 years. That's not an accident, right?
I just think he's he's a one-dimensional player. Well, not completely one-dimensional because he does play the field. He doesn't only DH. But he's primarily a hitter, and I think that plays into it. So I don't know if I would necessarily call it an accident.
Yeah.
Generally,
he's a hired gun, basically, is what he is at this stage of his career.
Right. I mean, generally you see players that are leaning to the one-dimensional side bounce around, especially at this point in his career. It's not like he got a huge contract extension before he was years out of free agency. So, I wouldn't call it an accident.
Michael, last one for me here.
And on a positive note, let's say something positive.
No? Okay. I'll let you be the positive, Polly.
Okay.
Which one is more likely to happen? The Texas Rangers pitching comes back to the mean, or the Texas Rangers bats go up to the mean? Which one more likely?
I'm going to go with the bats. Again, this lineup is just
positive,
too talented.
I'm talking about.
And again, it's something that has been said, and I know fans are tired of hearing it. But do you seriously look at this lineup 1 through 9 with all the veterans, with all the people that have done it before? You've got some young bats in there too. A guy like Wyatt Langford, who's like a lot of people's dark horse MVP candidate coming into the season. You seriously look at that 1 through 9 and tell yourself this lineup is not going to get it eventually. They will. They won a World Series not even 2 years ago, or 3 years ago rather. It's actually less than 2 years, if we're being honest, being technical about it. They're going to figure it out. So yes, I think the offense will get better before the pitching regress. This is one of the franchise's all-time pitching staffs right now. It'll regress, I'm sure, but I mean the offense is. I'm going to give it to the offense. They're more likely to improve rather than the pitching not.
Okay, I lied. I got another question for you. I need you to help me build this because you're super smart, Michael. 1 through 9, what does it look like in a perfect scenario a month from now? Because the reason I asked, with all the different iterations we've had with Josh Smith leading off, Wyatt being at the 2 hole, the 3, the 4, what would be Michael Bier's in a perfect world 1 through 9?
Well, I don't think there's necessarily a perfect world 1 through 9 because you have so many guys that can play in different places, right? Like Joc Pederson can play first. He might DH. Jake Burger is going to be the first baseman. Josh Smith can play anywhere.
Which 9 guys you want out there, Michael? You tell me. Which 9 you want out there? Any scenario.
Ideally, you want Marcus Semien and Corey Seager at the top of the lineup.
So you liked Marcus at the top.
Up there near the top. Jake Burger, Joc Pederson in the middle. And then you get down to, the Jonah Heims of the world. Evan Carter is probably going to bat towards the bottom of the lineup. It's really no different than how the projections were coming in. The lineup's just got to find it. I don't think anything's going to change in a perfect world. I think how it was drawn up coming into the season is your perfect 1 through 9. So
you like Marcus Semien back at the leadoff. I think I'm fine with him staying in the 5 hole and having Josh Smith or a Wyatt Langford leadoff. But you think differently?
Yeah, I go back to what I said before. I mean, he's a veteran. He'll figure it out.
Okay.
We hope so.
He's not going to hit under 200 for the rest of the year. He'll find his way back to the top of the lineup.
He has hit a lot better since they dropped him in the 5th spot, though. There is that. You do feel good about that. So, MB, where can we find you at, and what you working on?
Yeah, as always on Twitter, at Michael J. Bier. Have a heavy hand in all things foul territory. We're doing great things, adding new shows, it seems, every day. So we've got your coverage all throughout Major League Baseball, wherever you can find it. We talk Rangers a lot. So we talk Rangers more than I think people expect. So
I love it.
Always tune in, and who knows, you might hear a Rangers comment, Rangers segment every now and then.
I am here for it. Michael Bier, great stuff from you as always, my friend. We'll see you out at the field soon, and have a wonderful rest of your evening, sir.
Take it easy, y'all.